Well, are we staring into the mouth of the next pandemic? The WHO has confirmed 8 people have now been infected with hantavirus. They're saying it is spreading person to person. They're also saying that it has a 2-week incubation period, so you could be walking around and spreading it to people, and people could be spreading it to you. And there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of talk about this, and people are worried that this is going to be the beginning of a new pandemic. BRICS News reported that the WHO has contacted 12 countries now over possible hantavirus exposure. So again, there's this alarm going off, and oh no, this is how it begins. Remember when with COVID, it just started with, it's just some people in China, and yeah, they're hit with some weird illness, and then it was, oh no, it actually spread around the world because people took flights, and so now they're saying, oh no, people were on this cruise ship and they were from all around the world, and now there's 12 countries who might be exposed to this hantavirus because we have these 8 infections, and it could be more because these people could just be walking time bombs, spreading it to everybody around them. Very scary what's going on. And so people are worried that this might be the next, the beginning of the next pandemic, that there's obviously a desire. It was a lot of money that was made. So of course there's a lot of powers that be that are going to want to push another pandemic. I do want to show you this. This was a tweet that's gone viral. Apparently this was published June 10th of 2022. And this person on this account only had 4 tweets. That was it. All of them pretty much June of 2022. And this is one of the 4 tweets. 2023, Corona ended. 2026, hantavirus. Ugh. And here we are, 2026, hantavirus. Did this person predict that this would happen? And where is this soothsayer anyway to tell us more about our future if this person really is a soothsayer of some way? They only had 4 tweets entirely, but maybe it doesn't take a psychic. Maybe it just, it's like obvious that they're going to try to put a pandemic on us, right? Obviously, they're going to try and do whatever they can to scare us into more vaccines. Well, joining us now is one of the most courageous doctors to emerge from the COVID era. Dr. Mary Talley Bowden risked her career, reputation, and livelihood to speak out against the lies, the censorship, and medical overreach during the pandemic. While countless doctors stayed silent out of fear, Dr. Bowden openly challenged lockdowns, vaccine mandates, and the suppression of early treatment options, and paid a very real price for it. She was attacked by the corporate media, stripped of hospital privileges, targeted by medical authorities, and labeled a spreader of dangerous misinformation. She has a new book coming out in just a couple of weeks called Dangerous Misinformation: The Virus, the Treatments, and the Lies, where she tells the full story of what it was like standing against one of the most powerful medical and political machines in modern history. Dr. Mary Talley Bowden joins us now. Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kim.
Okay, hantavirus. We're all running scared, right? Because we feel like, oh no. And I think we're all traumatized. We still have PTSD from COVID. So when the news comes out and they start talking about a virus that's spreading and it kills people and the death rate is like 50% or something, and oh no, we're all going to get it. This just sets off massive alarm bells. So I'm hoping you can give us some clarity on this hantavirus, and what do you think? Give us some clarity on this thing.
It is a bad virus. There's a high lethality to it. I think it's like 35%. I actually knew somebody in the 90s that got it and almost died. But it's rare. When you look at the cases over the last 30 years, they've had about 890 cases over 30 years. It doesn't spread easily at all. There are 2 different types. The one that everybody's buzzing about can spread human to human, but even so, it's still hard to spread human to human. It's not like COVID. And the fact that it doesn't spread very easily and has a high mortality rate means that it's very hard for it to become a worldwide pandemic. Now, if they've manipulated the virus, which I guess is a possibility given what happened during COVID, then maybe we should worry. But I'm not worried yet. I think now remember what they did after COVID. They tried to get us all worked up over monkeypox. They tried to get us all worked up over bird flu. This is, we've got the midterms coming up. It's conceivable that this is just propaganda.
Like another one of those. Another thing that's setting off alarm bells is that there's this, and I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but I've been reading reports that Korea University and Moderna have been working on an mRNA hantavirus vaccine since 2023, saying that Korea's University's Vaccine Innovation Center and U.S. biotech firm Moderna, made world famous by its multi-billion-dollar COVID-19 vaccine profits, have been jointly developing an mRNA-based hantavirus vaccine since signing a research and development agreement in September of 2023, with the candidate now awaiting funding to begin human clinical trials. So that sets off serious alarm bells. And the other thing about that I'm curious is if they were coming out with a vaccine, how do they test that without, like you just mentioned, maybe in a lab, right? They've got the virus. I mean, they obviously would need the virus. They would need to be doing funny things to the virus in order to test the vaccine on the virus. And of course, with these vaccines, they also, I would imagine, do sort of gain of function in a way in order to see, well, what if this mutates? And if it mutates, and if we can get it to mutate, does this vaccine still work on that mutation, right? I mean, I would imagine that that's the type of testing they do when they decide to develop a vaccine for a virus. And then suddenly, now we have a hantavirus outbreak and the news is going crazy over it and everybody's talking about it and we're all feeling like we're living in deja vu.
Yeah, I mean, hantavirus is considered one of those big potential threats because of its high mortality rate. It's up there with Ebola. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they're trying to come up with, just giving them the benefit of the doubt, that should this become something more widespread, that they have some sort of, vaccine to prevent it. But from what I understand, the vaccine that they've tested has not been tested on humans at all. They don't have the money to do it. Probably because there's no public appetite for it after what they did to us during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And but I do think we have to have a high degree of suspicion that they are messing around with the virus, either intentionally, to harm us or in the guise of a preventative strategy.
Why would anybody take this vaccine? Like, who would be that's the other big question, because as you say, this doesn't spread very easily. It has a high, it's kind of like SARS. This reminds me of SARS versus SARS-CoV-2, right? SARS doesn't really spread very easily. It has a high mortality rate, but it's slow to spread. And so they're able to contain it. Sounds like that's what this would be as well. Like, it's somewhat easy to contain. Even though we see the WHO coming out saying, well, it actually has a 2-week incubation period, so you could end up with hantavirus and not even know it for 2 weeks, right, before you finally see the symptoms, and you're spreading it to other people. And so that kind of creates that fear, right, of, you are walking time bomb for 2 weeks, spreading it to everybody for 2 weeks. But it seems like, since there are so few cases, I mean, how many cases? There's like hardly any of these. It's just like SARS, very, very few cases. Who would even want to take this vaccine? I mean, they would scare us into taking a vaccine for a virus that we have like a higher likelihood of being struck by lightning and getting this virus, so, I mean, why would they, like you said, where's the money for this vaccine? Why would they even try to develop this vaccine? It seems like because there's so few cases every year, that you'd be better off looking for an antidote once you have it, not a vaccine to prevent it.
Exactly. If we've learned anything, I mean, even, I'm a big fan of ivermectin, but prior to ivermectin, I used monoclonal antibodies, and those worked super well. They were safe. They were supported by big pharma, and they were mainstream, but those worked great. We should have stuck with monoclonal antibodies. And I would hope that if they're preparing for a new pandemic, that's where they put their time and attention into something like monoclonal antibodies rather than this vaccine that is unlikely to work.
Yeah. What do you think the end game is with this then? Why do you think they're fear-mongering us? I mean, are they really, truly preparing, do you think, for another COVID-19 style pandemic?
Well, Senator Ron Johnson just came out last week with a hearing about how there was all this massive cover up from the FDA and CDC over the injuries from the COVID shot. Did that spur all this? Is it the midterms coming up? They want to put fear into people and say, well, the Republicans are not prepared. And so we've got to elect a different party. We have to consider those factors. It's not purely about a virus.
All right. Well, the book is Dangerous Misinformation, the Virus, the Treatment, the Lies, and that we do have the link to the pre-order down below. The book comes out. What day does it actually drop?
May 19th.
May 19th. So it's coming right up. So you can pre-order the book. We do have the link down below. We also have the link to follow Dr. Mary Talley Bowden on X. Is there anywhere else you want people to go?
I have a Substack as well, and I do a podcast here and there that I post on my Substack.
Okay, so we'll put the link to Substack down below as well. Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, thank you so much for being here and giving us this insight, and thanks for fighting the good fight during COVID. I've talked about you many times on the show, sharing a lot of the information that you've shared, and you've been a real fighter during the COVID pandemic, and I know many of us thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iversen Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, for free at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.